Tom Taylor steps back into the world of injustice this issue and is taking us on a journey through it through the eyes of John Kent, who is cast into the world without any knowledge of its terrible history. I really applaud Tom for going the route he did this issue. It could have easily just been a big action spectacle issue with John throwing headfirst into the battle between Superman and Batman's warring factions, but I like that it was just him getting to see the world through John's eyes and him slowly coming to the realization that this world is wrong and so is the Superman within it. The characterization of the Injustice Superman was also really great and had this wonderful creepy aura to it, since it's made quite clearly on in the issue that he's obviously insane and he wants to keep this John on his world to make up for the John he lost. I also love how Taylor touched upon the events of the Injustice up until this point, since this isn't all the way through Injustice, it's like halfway through year 4 I do believe, and I like that it's all from Superman's point of view since he's telling John, so there are things that are just completely warped versions of events or straight out lies, like how Damian killed Dick or how they went about installing dictatorships and getting rid of other dictatorships and dealing with the climate crisis. It's all familiar yet really refreshing ways of approaching the Injustice universe and kind of reinvigorating it a little bit. Clayton Henry continues his stellar artwork for the series and leans into the very desolate, quiet feeling of the Injustice world really well, especially with his environments, which were devoid of the usual background detail, crowds or characters just hanging about, helping build Taylor's scripting that shows that this world is ruled by Superman and is basically just a quiet, terrified hostage along with all the people in it. Adventures of Superman John Kent Issue 3 dive deep back into the Injustice universe through the eyes of John Kent, exploring the totalitarian dictatorship Superman has installed and building off the established lore and characters really well. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Adventures of Superman John Kent Issue 3 heads to the world of Injustice, where Superman tells Wonder Woman all about the boy they found. Diana warns him to be careful since while he may look and sound like Clark and Lois, it doesn't mean that he can be trusted. Superman knows that they will know more soon as John awakens in the care of Lex Luthor. John jumps out of the bed, demanding the villain get away from him, but Lex finds it a shame that on his world, he and John aren't close, assuring the man that he has nothing to worry about. Lex points out that John is overloaded, comparing him to a solar battery, and his body has found a way to expel all its energy in one go, completely draining John. He believes with some training, John will be able to control this new power and boost his other powers in short bursts, or harness the power in a unique way. Lex learns that the man's name is John, knowing that he's named after Clark's father, revealing that he and Clark are good friends on this world. Lex also reveals that Clark went through an unspeakable tragedy, but before he can tell him anymore, Superman arrives, prompting Lex to tell Clark that John is awake. Clark gives John back his shirt, telling him that he had a son as well, and he was going to be named John. John is only concerned with the fact that this Superman killed Ultraman, but Clark really wishes he hadn't. He reveals that he lost both his Lois and John, and he had encountered an Ultraman before, so he knew what the monster was intending on doing to John, so he couldn't hold back. John tells Lex and Superman that Ultraman was planning on killing the Kal-Els across the multiverse, and he came there to save this Superman. He tells him that there was another Superman and an android with him, and they were sent to the Phantom Zone, but Superman agrees to help try and get them back, as an alarm goes off. The Supermen go and see the returning Flash, who wonders who the new, younger Superman is. Diana focuses him, wanting to know what they are dealing with, so Flash warns them of an attack on the regime barracks in Gotham and Star City, wanting to deal with the Star City one first, since Damian is already on the scene in Gotham. Upon hearing his friend's name, John asks if he can be of any help, but Superman sternly tells him he cannot, demanding that he stay in the Hall of Justice. John knows he can't just stay behind, as in Gotham, Damian helps up an injured regime soldier, learning that the attackers are heading to the operations room, planning on disabling the citywide surveillance. Batman appears behind Damian, confronting his son, as Damian tells him that the soldiers they are attacking have families, but Batman reminds him that they chose to serve an unjust system, just like Damian did. Damian attacks his father, but John stops him, telling Robin that while he is new there, he hopes they can just talk this over. Batman knows exactly who John is, but not how he can possibly be there, as Damian judo throws John away, surprising the hero thanks to his super strength. Batman warns John that he doesn't understand understand what is happening and he's wandered into something very dangerous as Damian hits his father down. John again tries to stop Damian, but the boy refuses to let his father go, chasing after him, but Batman is already long gone. Superman and the others arrive, questioning what John is doing there. Flash knows he's just like his father, he can't ignore people in need. Robin asks about the Star City attack, learning that it was a decoy and Gotham was the real target. Damian guesses that's why Batman was there and he had him had it not been for John's intervention. He demands that John not get in his way again, as Superman tells John that Damian has been through a lot and his father can be stubborn and spiteful. Clark tells him about how Dick Grayson died and Bruce blamed Damian, who also blamed himself, and Batman cast the boy out because of it. Superman wants to talk about what has happened to this world, taking John high into the sky as he explains how Lois and his unborn son John were killed by the Joker, and he reacted poorly to their deaths. But then he decided to do more for this world and make it less of a tragedy. He reveals that he has begun reversing the climate crisis, he's overthrown many dictators and stopped stupid wars over beliefs and borders, which has led to the creation of one Earth. John says he's asked his father why he never did more, and Superman knows that if he was like him, it's because he didn't feel like it was his place to do that. Superman, however, realized that that was just an excuse to avoid responsibility and hard choices, but once he accepted that he was a worthy citizen of the world, he knew he could use his power to properly help it. Superman thinks that John can make this happen on his world as well, but John wants to see what this Superman has built on his world first, asking if he can go and see it alone. After a moment, Superman agrees to let him go, assuring him that they have nothing to hide. As John leaves, Wonder Woman tells Superman that this is a bad idea and John might not understand Superman's methods. Clark refuses to imprison his child, but Diana reminds him that this John is not his son, since his son died. Clark wants John to see the world and then they will discuss him staying as John flies through the world, finding it similar to his, only he can taste the air is cleaner and it's oddly quiet, having heard no gunshots or bombs. Suddenly he hears someone crying, racing off to save a baby who has fallen from a balcony. John delivers the baby back to its mother, who thanks John profusely, but upon seeing the symbol on his chest, she retreats back inside, apologizing that it won't happen again. John is taken back by how scared the woman is of him, realizing it's because of the symbol on his chest. Superman joins John, asking him what he thinks of the world he has made, and John again notices the world is quiet, not because it's peaceful or free, but because everyone is holding their breath since everyone is afraid of Superman and his regime.